Let's move on now to Iowa State basketball. Steve Prohm entering his first year as the head coach. A lot of hype, a lot of expectations. This is Red Rocks. It's a famous landmark right outside of Denver.
There's no way for me sleeves.
See, I'm not as tough as you. I'm going sleeves, gloves, scarf, whatever I can put on. We watch the team all the time. We know they're for real, but nationally it just seems that the Hawkeyes don't get that same respect as a team like Michigan State. We're seeing a trend. Talented players means more wins. That's no secret. Well, how about Iowa? The 5th best team in the country, and they're barely in the top 50. They have a lot at stake. They could lose $1 million if they didn't play this game this Saturday.
Poor guy, that just looks painful.
No.
That just kind of sums up the Buffalo Bills over like the history of their franchise.
Statistically, I should have never been in this position. I have a better chance of going to jail than I do to go to college.
We are all products of our past. The memories never fade, they just motivate. Tavian Johnson is a man with a bright smile and a brighter future, sparked by his fire.
There's a lot of people who don't know where I've come from or like what I've gone through, and I don't tell them.
Look behind the mask and you'll see that his dad is in prison. His mom had him in high school. Struggling financially, they moved 19 times. At times, they were homeless.
It's always terrible when you're trying to figure out where you're going to sleep the next night. I didn't really know how to tell my friends or like anybody that I talked to, so I just didn't. And if people asked certain questions, I'd lie or like make something up.
I always tried to make it a positive circumstance. There was points at which I couldn't let them see how I felt.
So she kept Tavian in the gym and taught him that in life, the situation doesn't matter, only the scoreboard.
I really can't make so many excuses for myself because that's not how the world works.
Now, this is his world at Augustana. He's president of his fraternity. He's studying to be a doctor, and he's competing for a national championship.
And now the Vikings will get it back to Tavian Johnson. He'll be cleared for takeoff.
I thank God we actually was able to sit here and have a conversation about how he has succeeded, because the reality of it is it did get tough.
On senior night, Tavian celebrated with the one who made it all possible. And afterwards, I showed her this.
Anytime anyone asks me, I always say that like, I never will ever blame my mom, if anything, that she's my superhero for the rest of my life, because I wouldn't have made it through that stuff without her, and I wouldn't have made it here without her. I still love you, Mom, no matter what happened, and it was never her fault, and I thank her for everything that happened.
He's so awesome. He is so amazing. I love him. Like I said, there's been points where it just was hard. It really was. And this is like a tribute to the sacrifice and the stuff that I went through. It really is.
From homeless to champion. Once embarrassed to share his struggles, now proud to own it.
I've come a long way, like I really have, but I had my mom. And a lot of people don't have that type of person.
My youngest son last night said, Mom, it's like Tavian has made it normal for us to succeed.
And if I can be that for someone, then that means I'm changing people's lives for the better.
Joining us now is Julian Vandervelde. He's played 5 years in the NFL. He'll help us break down the NFL playoffs. And Julian, we'll start with this. It's negative 25-degree wind chill. You're playing an NFL game. Sleeves or no sleeves?
No sleeves for me. I'm a proud Iowan. I've got this nice layer of blubber around my body like a whale or a walrus. There's no way for me sleeves.
See, I'm not as tough as you. I'm going sleeves, gloves, scarf, whatever I can put on. But Bud Grant puts everyone to shame. 88 years old, negative 25-degree wind chill, no sleeves. One of the coolest things you'll see all day. Vikings led 9-0, but here comes Seattle. Bad snap. Russell Wilson keeps the play alive.
You know, it's crazy, these defensive games. Sometimes the last mistake is the one that loses it. Right here, big mistake by Russell Wilson, but he's able to turn bad into good. Crazy play. Minnesota defense fails to corral him.
That led to a touchdown here. Adrian Peterson fumbles the ball, 23 carries, only 45 yards. What happened?
Well, they kept him going with the running game, which is a good call, but the gang tackling here by Seattle, one-man wraps, one-man strips, absolutely textbook. You can't do it any better.
Vikings down 1. Blair Walsh has a chance to win it from 27 yards out. And no, wide left. And as you'll see on the replay, laces out.
I think that you get a little bit of the added pressure. Sherman had nearly blocked the kick before. Maybe there's a little bit of hesitation there by Blair Walsh. But at the end of the day, a little bit crazy. Those laces come out. I don't know what even to think about it. Not a kicker.
After the game, Blair Walsh took all the blame. The Vikings lose 10-9. Next up, we got the Packers and Redskins. Green Bay was down 11-0 at one point, but they came back and they got back to running the football.
You get the use of a fullback here, John Kuhn, one of the best in the game. Little cutback, Eddie Lacy with the great vision, one cut, and he is out into the open.
And they got back to using their pass rush, 6 sacks in this game.
Absolutely, and Kirk Cousins has been playing absolutely lights out coming into this game. Green Bay had to make him a non-factor. They were able to do that through a combination of sheer skill, 3-man rushes, completely unacceptable to get beat here by Trent Williams, one of the best in the game, and a combination of that and mixing up their line stunts, twists here. You see Clay Matthews coming around free off the outside, completely just unbelievable.
They looked a lot like the team that started the season 6-0. So the Packers will play David Johnson and the Cardinals, and what a rookie season for the Clinton native. 13 total touchdowns. Is this guy for real?
I think he's for real.
Let's move on now to the national championship game. One of the big storylines is Clemson's fast-tempo offense versus Alabama's front 7. 4 of those guys could be drafted in the first round. So as an offensive lineman, kind of show me what's your mentality, what's your strategy to stop them?
I think that Clemson's offensive line is underrated.
You know, Alabama, one of the all-time great teams, but Clemson really isn't. A few years ago, we laughed about the whole Clemsoning deal. They, got blown out in big games, but here they are. So let me ask you, do you think we'll see a day where we're talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes playing for a national championship game?
I think so, and I don't see any reason it couldn't be next year.
What a story that would be. Unbelievable if Iowa can contend for a national championship. And remember, they were just 1 yard short of getting in the college football playoffs this year. So maybe they can do it all over again next season. Julian, great job. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.